Welcome to the Theater of Others podcast. I'm Adam Marple.
And I'm Dr. Budi Miller.
And we're the co-artistic directors of the Theater of Others.
Our goal for this podcast is to build an international community of artists drawn together by a shared curiosity in what role theater has to play in confronting global crisis and creating new, thriving communities.
Each week, we'll peel back the curtain on our own views, debates, and speculations. We invite you to join us in these discussions, even criticize us if need be. Let's find the way forward together.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, Budi.
How you going?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I see you got the memo.
Yeah. Wear your black hat. I didn't
Black
do it
and
off to
white.
the side. Yeah, not off to the side, but just wear your
Ebony
black,
and ivory.
Wear your black sweatshirt. Yep. Make sure there's gray exposed in your beard. Yep, got it. We're good.
Tick box.
Yep.
Tick box.
Mm-hmm.
We look like gangsters.
We do. Have you seen? There's a show on Apple TV called Dope Thief with Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
Laura. Yeah, that's us. That's us right now. We look like
it totally is.
We look like two dope, some gangsters who steal from other gangsters. That's what we look like.
Well, that would be you and I.
Yeah. Omar coming.
Yeah, I've only seen the first episode. I liked it though.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's so many things I'm watching right now. There's too many things that I'm watching right now,
Did you finish Adolescence?
I did. I finished Sunday. Yeah.
What'd you think?
Oof. Yeah. That last episode.
Yeah.
I cry at the drop of a hat. I'm a sucker, but like if I see a strong man struggle to not cry and then finally lose it, done. Stephen Graham, God, what a great actor he is. He's in so many things and he's always just consistently just good. But finally to have something like that he wrote.
Oh, he wrote this?
He wrote this. Yeah, he co-wrote this with the guy that it's from. I think it's from Peaky Blinders. I think it's the same guy, or something.
Wow.
Like that. Yeah, so good, so good.
How about the daughter?
Yeah, that episode. God, that just. And you were right. Like she's just center camera the majority of the time. She's the witness. She's in between it all that's happening. Oh, that Home Depot scene or whatever it was.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that Home Depot scene setting us up for the phone call.
Guy just wanted to have a nice birthday, eat some food, go see a movie, eat some Chinese food.
I'm going to watch it again.
I mean, I need to take a little bit of time, but
yeah,
golly, it's so good.
Yeah.
Good. Some really good stuff out there.
I literally forgot we were on a podcast.
They don't care.
I got swept away.
Yeah, we'll just do like Julian Elijah Martinez does, and just talk about the script of a TV show for the entire hour. Let's just talk about the pilot pilot of Yellow Jackets. That's what we're going to talk about next.
Oh wow! That's one for you, Julian Elijah Martinez. That's one for you.
Yep.
What's the name of this podcast?
The Episode 1 podcast.
Episode 1 show.
Yeah,
that's right. Y'all need to watch that. Listen to it. Do they do video now?
I don't think they do.
Not yet.
I've not seen anything.
They should do video because there's some fine.
I don't know why they don't. Yeah,
I know. Well, we do know why they don't. It's a lot of work.
I don't do anything. I show up at 11 p.m.
That's because you have a producer.
That's exactly. But we work.
You don't do anything anymore. You don't do anything anymore.
Right. Exactly. There was a year and a half where
you were the producer. You were the actress. You were the director.
Exactly. No more. Thank you, Jack.
Well, I'm in Singapore still. Mm-hmm. I go to America next week. I'm very excited to go to America.
I know, and I'm not going to see you, and
I know I'm not going to see you. I would love to. This is a really tight trip. We've got the Grotowski assembly that's happening. The 4th, 5th, and 6th of April. Then I've got my spiritual mask workshop. There's actually one spot left if you want it. Yeah, if you're in New York, spiritual mask workshop. Hello, 11th, 12th, and 13th of April. Go to budimiller.com or send me an email at budi@theaterofothers.com or go to theaterofothers.com. Or .org, right? We're in org as well, right?
Yes, we are. It just redirects right back to com.
If you're in New York and you want to play, there's one spot left. And I'm bringing my spiritual masks, which is the real deep work. So if you've never worked with the spiritual masks, you should do it because I very rarely bring them to New York. They go to Bali, but they very rarely go to New York. So the masks are excited to get to come as well. Well, I love the spiritual mask work because what it does is it's the deepening of what we're doing. I'm reading a fantastic book, Adam.
What are you reading? I'm reading a fantastic book too. Also, by the way, sidetrack.
Oh,
Devil on the Cross.
Isn't it amazing?
It's a good book. I really enjoy it. I'm really glad we're using it this summer. I'm actually thinking of including it in my devising class next year as a source text.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. It's delish.
It offers a lot.
Delish. It's brilliant, isn't it?
There's so much to pull from. Yeah. Sorry.
It's a graphic novel, right? It's a graphic novel.
It might as well be. Yeah. So what
by Ngoge Wationgo. You're reading Devil on the Cross by Ngoge Wationgo.
Yeah.
I'm reading The Actor and the Space.
I can't get it. I can't find it.
You can get it on Kindle.
I tried. Well, I'm also trying to get a new Kindle. Anyway, but I want
to.
Yeah,
I got it on Adam. It's delicious. What's brilliant about it is that it's another person speaking the way we speak.
Well, let's try and get.
It's literally another person validating all the ways in which we teach, especially what we do in Bali, especially, and even how I teach acting. Of you're right here, right now, in the moment. That this is what, and the best part about it is it shows the gap. There's just a gap that there's like 2 bits that he doesn't have access to that we have access to, and I'm like, yeah, but this bit you don't have, and this is how this works exactly what you're working with, because he talks about he challenges the word transformation, and transformation is it's hard to understand if you don't have mask work in the mix, where he says that you can't transform into character. It's always you. Yes, it's your body, yes. But the transformation happens in the mask work because the mask work actually extends you out into the space, which is where you get all of your information, which is what he's talking about. And and also the way in which he looks at emotions, completely different than the way we work. So I'm just really excited to talk to you about this book. I think it should go on one of our book lists because it's a winner. It's a winner. It's a winner chicken dinner. And he uses his 2 actors that are in rehearsal for Macbeth. So we look at it through the lens of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth.
I just got it.
So we interact with text. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Highly recommended, everyone. And what I love about the conversation around space is that he talks about the audience being there, and that the conversation between the audience and the actors is a part of the image world. So when because we all know soliloquy is with the interaction with the audience. That's the style.
Yeah.
But he goes even deeper inside of it, of how to actually understand how to weave a filter and how Lady M is looking at the audience, how Macbeth is looking at the audience. What do they see in the audience? How do they adjust the way in which they interact with the audience? So there is no fourth wall.
Of course there's not.
Low-hanging fruit, Adam Marple.
I know. It's in my Kindle, and it's on the topic of today.
What are we talking about today, Adam Marple?
We are still in our theater as a portal to self-actualization, theater as a way to life series. We are episode 3, breaking the fourth wall, creating theater that sees the audience.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know the fourth wall is just a bourgeois French aesthetic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't exist.
Thank you for joining today's episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, exactly.
So talk to me about the different relationships that we have with the fourth wall, Adam. Like, and it gets because I kind of feel like this fourth wall conversation is like our poetics conversation.
Yeah. Well,
meaning Aristotle's Poetics. For those of you who didn't
listen
to the podcast where we talk about Aristotle's Poetics, which I recommend you go back and listen to.
I mean, I'm not spending a great amount of times in acting classrooms, so I don't remember when it is said as a thing and then enforced as a thing. I feel like it's one of those things, kind of like the Poetics, that's said one time, one place, and then everybody just adopts it and goes about their business as if that's the God's honest truth. And I spend an inordinate amount of time reminding young theater makers that it's not there, and it's a choice to make it there if they want to make it there. That it's not an inherent thing. So I want to know. I want to find out who said it and who keeps on saying it, and then slap them upside the head with a 2x4. Because I don't know where it's coming from. I honestly don't. I mean, like, what? Who's saying it? Stop.
I feel like it's those bad, like, elementary school acting teachers.
Maybe is that so they're like bringing it in from middle school or high school and just coming into college and nobody's correcting them. Like, what is?
Well, I mean, it's an 18th century concept.
I know, but like, you don't let a student put on a British accent when they're doing Shakespeare, unless they are actually British.
Some might.
Well, hey,
you know what it is? I think it's one of those things where, like, they want to, like, I think they're giving a service to the kids. So, like, if you give them a fourth wall, then they can do whatever they want and not be subconscious around being on stage.
Nah, no, I don't buy it. Don't think so.
Listen to this. Okay, so I just pulled this up. The concept of the fourth wall originated in the world of theater and has its roots in the 18th century. The term fourth wall is attributed to the French philosopher, critic, and dramatist Denis Diderot, who introduced the idea in 1758.
Ain't nobody know that. So how the fuck
Diderot suggested that actors should imagine a huge wall across the front of the stage, separating you from the audience, and behave exactly as if the curtain had never risen.
Okay. And this is why, okay, fine, whatever. 1758, that should be the end of that conversation. However, this is why this is bullshit. This is why this is bullshit, full stop, period, is that you never see an actor turn their back to the audience and talk to somebody upstage. So they're very aware that there ain't no wall there.
Especially in that day and age, everything was like play out to the audience. Right. Play out to the audience that doesn't exist.
Right, exactly. There's a wall right there. We're all just staring at a wall. I know when I go to people's apartments, I stand next to the wall and talk away from the people behind me. I know that's what I do when I go to people's apartments and hang out at other people's houses. In my own house, I know that the couch is behind me, and I stand about 3 meters away from the couch, talking at a wall.
Okay, so the concept gained prominence in the 19th century with the rise of realism and naturalism in theater. It became a fundamental aspect of the suspicion of disbelief, allowing audiences to immerse themselves in the fictional world presented on stage.
Naturalism doesn't exist.
Well, but neither does realism. And you're gonna love the realism truth conversation that Declan Dowland has in The Actor in the Space.
Good.
It's literally, we got to get him on our podcast because he's
right.
literally speaking our language.
Yeah.
Jack,
are you listening? Call up Declan Dowland.
Jack, can you get Declan Dowland on the line, please, so we can get him on the podcast because we want to talk about his book.
Just get him. Yeah.
That'd be a great way to talk about the book. We'll get him on the show.
Perfect. Yeah. Wonderful.
Okay, Jack, get on it.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
All right. So now that we've confirmed that the fourth wall is a piece of doggy doo.
Yeah.
It's a stinky poo.
Pure BS.
How do we move past? How do we move past passive spectatorship, Adam?
Well, this starts getting into audience
into engaging.
Yes.
And witnessing.
Yes. This gets into audience making territory.
This is you.
This is all me. This is all I'll sing it from the mountaintops. I'll be Ricola.
Ricola.
Audience making. I was having a conversation. So the last podcast we talked about our town, and I had an opportunity to speak with my students today about it because we just had our first day back since then, and the actress who was playing the stage manager was talking about how her entire engagement is to the audience. She's directly addressing them the entire time, and she's saying that she's speaking to people that are there because they're being made to be there because the university is saying, like, you have to go see every single show that is here. That's just a new rule that's being enforced this year. So some people are coming in and they've got their arms crossed and they're kind of leaning back because they're made to be there.
Do they take attendance?
They do. They see if their ticket was confirmed or not.
Wow. I actually like that rule. I think you should see all of it.
I agree, but there's something about I don't know. There's something kind of pedantic about it, and it is a thing that they are trying to enforce, but in a way that makes it feel like it's a chore to go to the theater, and that's not.
Well, they have to go to the theater anyway because a lot of them don't go to the theater anyway.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's too expensive.
Yeah, I agree, and this is free. So, anyway, she's saying that having an engaged audience that she's talking to, that when she says something, you see that little nod of their head, versus having people that are forced to be there, just kind of like sitting back, arms crossed, and nothing coming back. And she was saying that, and she said this herself. She said, I don't know what I could have done to make them wake up for the show. I felt like there needed to be something beforehand that got them to a place to be the audience that we need. Because it's a feedback, feed forward situation, whereas I'm sending something out to them and I feel the nothing coming back. So I have to just turn away from that side of the audience and only talk to this side of the audience because they're not engaging. And I was like, yeah. Focus on that. It should have happened before part, because there was nothing before the show to get them ready for that. We in the theater, we talk about this all the time. We talk about the actor needing to warm up and be ready, be present, to be that shaman. I talk about the director needing to be the first audience, to be the kind of person you want the audience to be. And then we just assume that the audience will show up and be open and receptive and empathetic and spacious and kind and willing and receptive. And it's a Saturday. Lots of shit could have happened to them. And all they know is that they got a show tonight. What's the show about? I don't know. No clue. There would be. I don't remember seeing a poster for this show. I didn't see any blurb for this show. If I didn't know the students and I didn't know things were going on, I wouldn't know anything about this show. And that's true for so many shows. That's true for so many pieces of theater that's out there. Is you may have a poster, you may have a blurb, but you don't have anything else. You paid a lot of money. I mean, I was watching a YouTube video this morning about Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal $921 for a ticket to see them in Othello.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
$921 for row M.
What?
They were touting it. This was so funny. They were touting it as the show with the fastest recoup time. It's already made back its money and made some. It is the largest grossing play in Broadway history. Yeah, well, with $921 tickets. I mean, I would love to see Denzel do this role. I'd love to see Jake Gyllenhaal do this role. It'd be fantastic. I'm not paying $921 for
$1,000.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah, I know.
Do they have rush tickets?
Sure. You better rush to get there real quick.
What about those standing room tickets?
I mean, it's still all going to be so expensive, but that's the thing is like it's no longer even about the show. Like what
It's about the celebrity.
What do you need to know about the show? Denzel's in it. That's all you need to know. They just need to put his face on the marquee and they're done.
But my question is, this is my question. Okay. This is a big question, and then we can go back to the audience because now you're fired me up.
I know.
If I'm paying that much money, what am I going to learn other than not to ever pay that much money for a theater ticket again?
And who are you going to be surrounded by?
Exactly. Who are you going to be surrounded by, and what am I going to learn? Because it's not like they're experts in the theater.
I'm sure it's very, very good. Denzel was a theater actor and goes back to the theater often. Jake was the same way.
I'm sure it's very good, but not $1,000 good.
I don't know. I'm more thinking about who I would be surrounded by. Who could afford $900 tickets?
Ooh, but there's a show we do have to see. It's called Purpose.
Purpose? Never heard of it. What is
Brandon Jenkins.
Oh, he's a new playwright that nobody's ever heard of. Okay, great.
Brandon Jenkins. Directed by Felicia Rashad. It's about the Black elite of America.
Cool.
It's supposed to be really good.
Interesting. Are you going to see it when you're there?
Hell yeah.
Okay, good. Tell me how Othello is when you see that as well.
I ain't going to see that. If someone give me a ticket, I'll see it.
You could see Good Night and Good Luck with George Clooney, or not.
I don't want to see George Clooney on stage. He can't talk. He couldn't even talk on TV, and he had microphones.
You could see American Buffalo.
With who?
I know you love some David Mamet. Kieran Culkin's in it. I know that much. I know that it's star-studded. It's a star-studded affair. I'm not sure who's in it.
I'm gonna go see Purpose.
Okay.
Brandon Jenkins.
John Jacob Jingleheimer-Schmidt.
Yeah, and he's the playwright of An Octoroon. Brandon Jenkins.
Yes, he is. Of course, he is.
So
anyway, yes.
Let's talk about the Broadway audience then. Okay.
Ugh. Do we have to?
Have you ever been to a Broadway show where the fourth wall was removed
purposely throughout the entire thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we both saw Crucible, and that wolf that came out definitely broke that fourth wall.
Oh, yes. No, but the whole thing where there was no fourth wall. I have one.
What?
Passing Strange.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Passing Strange, there was no fourth wall.
I can't.
And that's with Coleman Domingo. That's Coleman Domingo's first Broadway show.
You should get Coleman.
Coleman's a friend of mine, so I went to go see him.
You should get Coleman on this podcast.
I should get Coleman on this podcast. That's a good question.
Coleman on this podcast.
You know what? I will get Coleman on this podcast if someone writes in and requests it, because I am what's it called, the projector, the generator, and manifesting generator. What's it called?
I don't know, man.
Human design. My human design, because you're a generator. Mm-hmm. My human design is a projector, and I can only work on request. So if someone writes in and says, please get Coleman Domingo on the podcast, I will do that. But I'm not going to do it unless someone requests.
Budi, can you please get Coleman Domingo on the podcast?
No. You have to write in, Adam. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So my question is, why is the fourth wall still so? Why is it such a popular style still?
I don't know. Why is Harvey still popular? Why is Arsenic and Old Lake still popular? Why is anything by Neil Simon still popular? It exists because it exists. It's there
Okay, so
because
then give me an example of witnessing as an audience. Give me an example of creating a space for an audience to do something other than sit back and watch.
there's I think of all of my theatrical experiences, like the top 10, top 5, all the things that have stayed with me. All those experiences have asked something more of me, and I don't want to keep rehashing the same things over and over again, but they're the Sleep No Mores, they're the uh, Purgatorio, Paradiso, Inferno of Romeo Castellucci, any of the shows of Ivo van Hove, any of the
What
things
happened in
where,
Purgatory?
oof, Purgatory, maybe Purgatory is not so much. The subject matter of Purgatory is what made that so uncomfortable in the audience that you became aware of your humanness. You became aware of your witnessing. You became aware of I should get up and say something or do something. It was a really rough piece. Um, but anything that is acknowledges your presence and not just a generalized wash of an audience, but literally you there, and that you being there changes that. And if you get up and leave, the play can't continue on. And that rarely happens in a proscenium space,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I can't think of anything on Broadway specifically. Um, it's one of those things where, like, when people talk about breaking the fourth wall in film, they say anytime that the person looks into the camera, but that's still not either. That's not it either. Like, looking into the camera doesn't mean that they're acknowledging that there is somebody on the other side of the camera at home watching it. That would
Mm-hmm.
be breaking the fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking the fourth wall means I see you. I literally see you. Your presence. I can hear your breathing. I can hear you sniffling if you're crying. If I were to say something to you, I would expect an answer in return. And if you were to yell out, I would do something. Most Shakespeare should be done that way.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't done that way all the
All
time.
Shakespeare,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Shakespeare, all
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare,
All Shakespeare
all
should be done that
Shakespeare.
way. It's not done that way. But beyond that, it's how you get the person into the room, how you get them situated and thinking the things you need them to think. Like, if you're talking about a subject matter that is foreign to the audience, and you think I can get everybody caught up on this subject matter by 8:05 when my play starts at 8, you're wrong. You're wrong. And that's a lot of times it's just us trying to figure out what are the physics of this universe, what is going on here. But that's such easy information that you can get beforehand. I mean, most people, the vast majority of people buy their tickets online. Very few people show up at the box office the day of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much that can be done when that happens. When you and really good theaters do this, and I collect. I mean, I have a whole folder in my emails of all the really good theaters that have sent me things. Whether that means, like, here's where parking is, here's where you can get a bite to eat, and here's a discount for that. But also, like, here's the script if it's a classic play. Here's some interviews with the playwright that we think you might be interested in. Here's some local news doing a report on the director, or here's the actors, on a podcast. Anything that is just there just to get me into the world, get me thinking about the material. Here's the book that it's based off of. Here's an article by by a journalist talking about these things that the play is about. All of that is so easy, and it requires nothing of the audience if they don't want to. But let's say that they do want to. They can just press the links and fall down the rabbit hole of this play and come in 1,000% more informed about this world than when they were. So you could have audience that is sight unseen, just coming in, arms crossed, going, entertain me. Or you could have people going, I know a lot about this. Now I'm ready. I'm ready to receive this. I have the general information that I need to know before coming into this to see an argument presented to me wherein I might change at the end of this. And that's just box office. That's just dramaturgy. That's just audience making, sending out with a ticket. You could do it before the ticket even begins. How are you getting that information out there? What are you sending out? How is the poster being received? Is their poster a static image that's just pasted on a side of a bus? Could there be a QR code where we can interact with it, where there is a virtual experience with the material before we even get there? Then you get to the lobby. What's the lobby experience like? Do you have a volunteer usher who's never seen the show and is just telling you can't bring that thing in? Go over there. No, I certainly.
Or is the usher dressed like a pirate?
Is the usher dressed like a? Or is exactly? Welcome, me hearties. Come on in. And there's, I don't want it to be a haunted house experience. I'm not looking for something like that, but like a little more care and thought. It boggles my mind. I was thinking about this the other day. If Stanislavski were to come back from the grave and go and watch a play right now, he would be like, oh, nothing's changed in the 130 years since I started talking about acting training. It all looks the same. The lobby looks the same. The ushers look the same. The whole process. The only thing that's changed is there's more lights. That's the only thing that's changed. We add more lights and sometimes we microphone our actors, but it all looks the same. Why? We just given over the process of what happens to the audience before they come in, when everything before the audience comes in is vastly different. You're competing with television screens and computer screens and iPhone screens, and there's traffic, and there's so much more traffic, and there's so much more noise, and music is pumped into everything, and there's never quiet anywhere. And then we're just asking them to come in like it is 1902, and that they've had a lovely dinner beforehand, and they can take off their mink coat and come sit down in the nice red plush chairs. But that's not how any of it works anymore. The whole experience, you have to change the time signature. You have to change the physiology of the audience before they come in. Otherwise, they're dragging in the world that is beeping and notifying them every 2 minutes into a space where we're asking them, don't look at your phone. Be present here. Well, what did you do to get them here? What is your job in getting them here? What is your job in getting them present? Yes, the audience needs to show up present, but how can you help them do that? They may not know. They may not have had the time. You may not have given them any reason to do anything other than get out of their car, walk into a lobby, stand around until they let you in, and sit down. No wonder they're not engaging back. You have an actor sweating their ass off on stage, giving, sending out information and getting nothing back. And you want to blame the actor?
Well, they're getting something back.
They're getting crickets back. They're getting snores. Well, they're getting light on faces from screens.
Yeah, but you can't be a fascist about the openness of the audience, like, because people receive with different bitch faces. Like,
I'm not blaming the audience either, though. That's the thing, is like, how would they know to be any different if you're not asking them to do anything different?
Mm-hmm.
You asked me to show up at 8:00. I showed up at 8:00. You told me to sit here. I'm going to sit here.
Yep.
We're not asking them to do anything else. We're not giving them a different experience.
So the immersive experiences that I've been a part of were performance artwork, which is that's I think a realm in which those rules of fourth wall they never apply.
Yeah.
So how would you transfer that knowledge of fourth wall not even existing in those spaces into a theater world? What would you remove? What actual things inside of theater making would you say no longer allowed to be a part of this experience?
Proscenium.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
if you're going to treat the space as two different worlds, then go ahead and turn this podcast off. You're not listening to what we're saying. It's not two different worlds. you're right. It's just, like, they're not two different worlds. You have to cast the audience as well. Who is the audience? Are they a witness? Are they a best friend? Are they a confidant? I mean, it's the same thing that we ask our actors to do when we talk about doing a soliloquy. When you're talking to the audience, who are they in this moment? Who do you need them to be? Are these strangers that you're just talking openly to? Or are these a side of yourself that you're trying to convince? Like, you have to, the theater, the director, the producers, they have to cast the audience as well. And that means that they're part of the world of the play. Are you an ancestor like we tried to do with our play? Are you a witness? Are you a fly on the wall? Are you a judge, a jury, an executioner? Those are all things that can be created through atmosphere, through space, through information, through interaction, through participation, passive or active. Those are all things that can be done, except if you just sit them in the dark and not acknowledge them for 2 hours, and then ask them to go and do the marketing for you by telling all their friends.
Wow, you really thought about that?
That's all I think about.
I'm going to pass out.
That's all I think about. Boggles my mind.
Okay.
I get very salty about this.
Okay, so but does it mean that they have to be participatory?
Yes, but not in the way that people freak out about. I'm never going to pull somebody on stage and make them do something.
And watch them pull a rabbit out of a hat.
I would hate that. Whenever anybody, like, I'll be in a play or an event and they'll be like, so could we get some volunteers? And I'll look at the ground. If I don't make eye contact, if I don't see you, you don't see me. I don't want to be, I'm not part of your play. I am a part of your world. I'm a part of this space, but I'm not a part of the story. But my participation is inherent in the act of theater. My being there is the participation. My forward feedback to the actor is part of my participation. My breathing, my getting in sync with the other people around me is part of my participation. My laughter, my gasp, the tears, that's part of my participation. Being awake, aware, open, make myself spacious, being willing to change, be able to listen to the arguments, that's part of my participation. And then what happens afterwards with that is still my part of my participation. Me taking with it myself the message and thinking about it, changing, doing something with it, adapting, telling people, yes, then being the marketing is part of that. That's all the participation that I have. But like showing up, it's not where it ends. That's not it. There's
that's 90% of that's 95, 96% of the audiences of the world. Oh, well, in the Western commercial theater.
It's just, I just show up. I bought this ticket. I own the play for the next 2 hours. I hope it's good. You better entertain me.
But see, this is the thing that's different for Black culture, because our audiences, because call and response is so deeply rooted in our people, we interact, even if it's in the film, if it's in the movie theater.
Sure.
That's just compulsory to be a Black person. You have to know how to be a call or response giver. And if it's really working, we let the people know it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's not every play with a Black audience, because the atmosphere and the space can tell you, oh, this is sacred. This doesn't call for a call and response.
Yeah, exactly.
The space will tell you if it can handle that. Like, you go to the Apollo, there is nothing that's happening at the Apollo without a call and response, unless it hits everybody.
Oh my God, I love the Apollo. Maybe I should go see. I wonder if there are any performances happening while I love going to the Apollo.
There's always something at the Apollo.
I love it. One of the best experiences I ever had was an audience member at the Apollo. That was when, because they were, because you know how you can boo people off the stage.
Of course,
So
yes.
like they were booing people off the stage. Now, because I was there to see a friend sing, and they're booing people off the stage, and I was like, oh my god, this is so naughty. Like, and I was at first like, still had my like my my cultured, my colonial way of interacting with theater body, right? My fourth wall body. And so then when people were like, well, I was like, my little one inside was like, oh my God, this is so good. And then I started joining in with the booing, right? But then this girl came out. This girl came out and she came out to do spoken word. And she said, my something, something, something. And my bowels opened up. And I went, boo. It, I didn't, I actually, my body did it. I didn't do it. And then, it was dead silent. And it was just me. And then, you heard someone giggle. And then you heard another person go boo. And then another person go boo. And then it was this big roaring, like mob. Boo. One of the greatest experiences of my life.
When are
So
you gonna be? When are you gonna be? When are you gonna be in New York?
I'm in New York from the 1st of April until the 15th of April.
Saturday, April 12th, Tanya Pinkins is doing her. Is it a one-woman show? It looks like a one-woman show.
What time?
Saturday, April 12th, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m.
I'm going to be in Grotowski. Oh, wait, 2 p.m., 7 p.m. No, I'm going to be in my own workshop in Brooklyn.
Well, never mind. Wow.
Man. Oh, man. Next time. When you go, make sure you go.
When am I going to be in New York again?
When's the last time? Have you ever been to the Apollo?
No.
Adam, gotta go. You're the audience man.
I know. But I didn't. When I lived in New York, I was just beginning to formulate this idea.
All right, audience man. Now it's a requirement. You got to go to the Apollo.
All right. I'll go to the Apollo.
So then, what is our final call to action then, before we go to break?
Well, if you're a producer, if you are a theater owner, if you work in the box office, if you're a director, you've got much more of a job than you think you do. The thing that you do is the given. That's just what it is. Yeah. I'm not at all saying that what you do is not hard. It's not already hard, but we're doing the things like we're not competing with AI and Netflix and phones and everything else anymore. Like, yes, of course, how we do things is gonna have to change, and the theatrical nature of what we are doing requires for us to talk to the people before they get there, to get them primed to be the audience that those actors need, to get that message across, to change that audience when they leave. It's full stop, period. It just is. I am saying you have more work. You can't fight me on it, because the reality of the situation is
you got to get butts in those seats.
You got to get butts in those seats. But you don't need to get butts in those seats. You need to get brains in those seats.
Bodies, souls, humans.
Souls. You need hearts in those seats. Yes, it is difficult to get butts in those seats. And it is even more difficult to get hearts into those seats. But that's what the job is now. That's what the job is. And it should actually be more rewarding. There's an artistic process to getting hearts in the seats than there is to getting butts in the seats. And if we want to start, like we see this thing, creative producer. I was talking with somebody.
Creative producer?
Yeah, creative producer. What did you create? What did you do? What did you make? I would love for there to be real creative producing happening. That's what getting hearts in the seats is. I want the box office to be artists as well. I want those who do the marketing to be artists. I want all audience development to be artists. Everybody is an artist there, and your job is to get hearts in the seats. That's the reality of the situation now. There's no getting around it. Why we still are doing the things that we've been doing for
like Angela Bassett.
150 years.
Well, I think on that note, we should go on break and come back with provocations, Adam Marple.
Yes, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary conforming individuals, you're listening to the stereo sounds of my daughter, J.D.B. Jack David Burmester. And we're back. We're back. Wow, Jack. That was immersive. Wow, Jack. You're amazing. Adam Marple.
Yeah.
We're at provocations.
We are.
Do you have a provocation?
I do. Theater makers, you're out there, you're working on a show. You're doing all the work that is required to put this show on, and I've just laid down the gauntlet and said, you got to do more stuff. And that sounds incredibly daunting, and you say, I don't want more work. It's already so hard doing the things that we're doing. And I say, yes, I recognize that. So what's the one thing? What's a baby step? And I like this baby step thing because baby steps aren't easy. Baby steps are awkward and fumbly and near falling at all times. So what's the one baby step that you can take to do this? What's one thing that you can do thinking about the audience that you want to come into that room to see this play, to see the actors' hard work, to see the beautiful designs? What's the one thing you wish that they knew coming into this piece to be the people that you want them to be to receive this information? And how can you give that to them for free as a gift? Just one thing. Just think of one thing. Once you do this one thing, you'll see maybe I could do two things next time. I had some fun with that. That was really interesting. I really enjoyed that. Maybe I can think about this a little bit more. It does. It requires time. It requires effort. I'm not apologizing for the fact that this is what the world is. I am acknowledging it's going to be difficult. So just the baby step, the small, fumbly, awkward, near fall of you trying something different to give the gift and audience to be the people you want them to be to see the show.
I love that. My provocation is for the actors. Notice how the quality of your work increases when you acknowledge that there's an audience. Notice what happens to your nervous system when you acknowledge that there's people in the room witnessing your body going through the suffering of this role. That's it. Notice it. Give it a go. Always try it out. Don't believe us. Check it out and see how it works.
Check it out.
Check it out, baby. Adam Marple, how will we know that these people did this?
They're going to go to speakpipe.com/theater of others. Again, speakpipe.com/theater of others. Theater with an R-E, theater of others, all one word. Leave a 90-second voice message. Tell Budi to get Coleman Domingo on here. You can also leave an email at podcast@theaterofothers.com. Go talk to Genevieve on our social media. She'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, Genevieve wants you to talk to her.
And the only way they're going to know about the things we're talking about, the Coleman Domingos that we're going to bring on to the show, is if they do what, Budi?
Till you do right by me, everything else you're going to do, go subscribe. You got to subscribe, y'all. You got to subscribe. We come to your inbox every week. 5 years.
Yeah.
Going strong. Doesn't matter what country we're in. We come to your inbox every week. And the only way you're going to know about all these fantastic things is you got to subscribe. And then when you subscribe, you got to do what my Uber driver does. Give us 5 stars. You give me 5 stars. I give you 5 stars. It's a zero sum. We all win this motherfucking game. Zeros all around. Zeros all around. And if you really like us, you can leave us a comment. And then it goes into the algorithm. Adam, do you want to get that? Hello. Hi. I just wanted to let you know that I really like the Theater of Others podcast.
Oh, great. You should leave them 5 stars. You should leave them 5.1 stars.
Well, it doesn't give me the option of leaving 5.1 stars, but you know what? I'm going to write down a message and let everyone know just how fantastic these two are.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Click. That's exactly what you can do. It's exactly what you can do. And then, you know what happens when it gets into the algorithm? We go from the top 5% podcasts in the world to the top 1% podcasts in the world. And Adam Marple, do you know what happens when we go to the top 1% podcasts in the world? Do you know who's coming on as a guest?
Coleman Domingo.
Oprah.
Oprah.
Oprah Domingo. Oprah Domingo. Well, Coleman knows Oprah. Hey.
There we go.
Because she loved the number ones. Oprah loved the number ones.
She does.
You know who's coming if Oprah comes, though?
I do. Coleman Domingo.
Beyonce.
Beyonce
Domingo.
Beyonce
Domingo.
Yep. Exactly.
And if Beyonce Domingo comes on, it's coming in after Beyonce.
Michelle Domingo.
Michelle Obama. She got a husband. She got a man. She got a man.
So does Beyonce. So does Oprah.
She got a man. She got a man. And after Oprah, after Beyonce, after Michelle Obama, who comes?
Kamala Domingo.
Coleman Domingo. And then he can bring Mamala, Coleman. We could do a podcast with Mamala and Coleman and talk about the state of the world today.
Fantastic. Great.
Get us ready.
Yeah.
But it's looking like we got to get
Coleman Domingo and Declan Donnellan. That's our next gets. That's what we got to get.
Coleman Domingo. What about Bernie Sanders?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
No?
AOC.
Let's get AOC.
Let's get AOC.
Yeah.
AOC.
You got to start.
Coleman Domingo, Declan Donnellan. Who else we're gonna get?
Oprah.
Beyonce. Michelle Obama. Kamala Harris.
Anyone else?
This ending is getting longer and longer.
One of them's gonna jump. One of them's gonna bite. They're gonna bite.
Exactly.
They're gonna bite.
Well, I feel pretty confident we can get Coleman Domingo. How many more times can we say Coleman Domingo before we end the podcast?
Hey, but so maybe the AI would pick it up, and then we'll just be the Coleman Domingo podcast.
The Coleman Domingo podcast. And then he sues us for infringement, and we have to have him on to talk it through. Perfect.
Coleman's too sweet. He ain't stunting us.
That's right. Yeah.
I love you, Adam.
I love you too, Budi.
See you next week.
I'll see you in a couple days, actually.
Oh, we have to do book club, don't we?
Book club. Not your Shasta.
Your favorite.
I like this book.
Yeah. And for y'all, we'll be in your inbox next week. Bye!
Thanks for joining us this week on the Theater Brothers podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theaterbrothers.org, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. A special thank you to Purple Planet for the music you've heard. The Theater Brothers creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task and requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? Be sure to tune in next week for our next journey.